Hello, I'm John Sargent and welcome to Argumental, the show where the hottest names in comedy debate the biggest issues facing mankind. Should we arm the police? Is there life on Mars? And why does Duffy keep sending me her underwear through the post? Here to argue such burning issues and others like them are our teams. Joining Marcus Brigstock in the red corner, please welcome Sean Hughes. And with Rufus Hound on the blue team tonight, please welcome Reginald D. Hunter. OK, let's kick off with round one, where we discuss a big issue that's had lots of us up in arms. I'm talking about this. Iraq, that war-torn, oil-soaked, shoe-hurling, Western-hating, Sunni delight. It's an enterprise that's costing us more money than a big shop at Waitrose. And it's proved less popular than Carol Thatcher at the Mobos. But the statement I want the teams to argue over is this. The war in Iraq has been a great success. Up first and supporting the statement for the red team, it's Marcus Brigstock.
Ladies and gentlemen, obviously when one is talking about war, it is important to treat it very carefully and delicately and with the respect it is due. And I think the sentiments we all feel were probably best summed up by the poet Edwin Starr when he said, "War! What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. Hear me now. War! What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it now." But in this particular instance, absolutely nothing is overstating the case. There are great things that have come out of the Iraq War. Put your hand up, please, and give me a cheer if you like Bush and Blair. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is the success of the Iraq War. One of the greatest successes to come out of the Iraq War is that people have been put off war, right? War is a shitty way to resolve differences. Even people who are quite passionate about it. People who think war's cool, like Jeremy Clarkson. Plus, another success that's come out of the Iraq War, Jim Davidson spent less time in this country. Bonus. Even Dick Cheney, who pours war onto his cereal at breakfast time, has been put off war. Would you like some more war, Dick Cheney? No, I'm full of war, thank you. I couldn't fit any more war into my war-filled tummy. What a war is big explosions, chaos, thousands of people dying. That is what a war is. We weren't sending in Kim and Aggie, right, to tidy the place up. The Iraq War lasted 3 weeks. It was a massive success. It's the 6 years of peace that have followed that have been a disaster. Ladies and gentlemen, please vote with the red team.
OK, next up, opposing the statement, it's Reginald D. Hunter.
The war in Iraq has not been a success. 2 years into the war, people started conjecturing that the war on terror, or the war in Iraq, was all about oil. A year or so later, gas prices or petrol prices went through the roof. Stolen shit shouldn't go up. No way in the world that makes sense. That's like somebody trying to sell you a diamond on the street and say, hey, you pay half that inheritance. And just... And the war on terror in general has been a failure, like airport security. I go through airport security, I feel like I'm being mugged and mutilated. I feel like one of Fritzl's stepchildren. And it makes me take on an aggressive attitude towards those who are trying to protect me, so they say. When I pack my bag to go through airport security, I make sure that I have the dirtiest, funkiest, smelliest clothes so that it's unpleasant for everybody involved. Not just the airport attendant, not just myself, but including the homeless person I stole the shit from in the first place. And so much is made of this special relationship that Britain has with America. This special relationship has allowed you to follow us into a silly war. Special relationship. I might remind you that in America, when men say special relationship, they're referring to having sex continually with a woman they don't have to recognize as a partner. We love you, Britain. Thank you very much. Vote for the blue team.
Thank you, Reginald. Sean and Rufus, would you like to join in this debate?
Well, like everyone, I'm anti-war, but I love the smell of petrol, so it's a tricky one with me.
When you said who here hates Bush and Blair, just out of interest, how many people thought he meant Kate Bush and Lionel Blair? Because you will, yeah, exactly, there's a couple of people at the back there already.
Of course, the price of oil went up after the war because they knew they had secured a massive amount of oil. The people who orchestrated the war were also the people who owned the oil. That, my friend, is a success, provided you're a warmongering dick. We didn't want the war, right?
When you say you're talking about who?
Well, I'm talking about myself. My point was, we didn't want the war in the first place, so we cannot deem it a success or a failure in terms of our own expectations. The people who failed to plan it, or made us believe they failed to plan it, it has been a success for them. A massive success. They've made a fortune out of it. Halliburton are rebuilding everything that the other wings of Halliburton smashed down. Yeah. That's a massive success.
It was always going to kick off in Iraq, whether America went there anyway. Because it's a very hot country. The staple diet is falafel. They're very dry in the mouth. That's going to get you quite tetchy.
That's the problem, isn't it? It's that the country is so ripped apart internally anyway that you're not really fighting any one faction. America are now in a situation where they're paying sort of freelance security who are just other terrorists not to shoot them. Now, that currently is a situation you're arguing is successful.
That's right. Yeah. Why? Because they sold them the guns. That's successful.
This is... Do you want to see a little impression? Right? This glass of water is the actual debate that we're having. Mm-hmm. And this is you trying to piss into it. I mean, it's a very tricky approach, Brigstock. You know, it's... I take what you're saying. It's a hard thing to argue when it's been such a galactic failure.
Right. Let me show you how I'm approaching this argument. If this is the debate we're having, this is me. I'm skipping around it, my friend. Yeah. And I'm outwitting you.
But at no point actually troubling the debate.
Well,
I'd like now to do a quick impression of Mr. Reginald D. Hunter. Nailed it.
The other point, Rufus, is we've got loads of water for the rest of the show. You've got none.
Just like the Iraqis.
I might point out as well that it's like being crack addicted. You want to stop, but you can't. America's been wanting to get out of this war for a little while, and we just can't. It's also sort of like making love to a 500-pound gorilla. You don't stop when you want to. You stop when the gorilla wants to.
So, what you're saying is the war in Iraq has been a success if you work for the American administration, which itself is in the pocket of Halliburton, or you're an arsehole, yes?
Amongst other groups, but yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the vote, it's very simple. If you work for Halliburton, or the American government, or you're an arsehole, vote red. Otherwise, by Marx's own admission, you are compelled to vote blue.
No, Hound, that's not what I've said at all. And that is a pretty pathetic attempt to hoodwink these good people. The kind of shit they're not going to fall for since Blair tried that on just before the war.
I'll ask Marcus a straightforward question. You define the terms in which this war has been a success. He gave us 3. We all heard that, and your way of hoodwinking these people is going, oh, that will never work. These people are too intelligent, aren't they? Oh, yes, sir, you're too intelligent. Oh, no. Oh, you're too intelligent, vote red. Oh, yeah. Hey, you want a back rub? Oh, there's a back rub. Yeah, be good. Oh, yeah, vote red. Oh. Don't just flatter these people. They're using their heads, Marcus. The war in Iraq has been a great success if you're an arsehole, a warmonger, or a dick.
What these people are voting on is whether or not we won the side of the debate or not. The fact that you can't keep up with it is not their fault. It's not my fault. There isn't time. We're on television. There isn't time for me to draw all the diagrams for you and give you the cuddles when your nose starts bleeding. There isn't time, Hound. These are complicated ideas. Sergeant gets it. That's why he's interrupting. He's tired of you.
No. You got it wrong, Marcus. No, I think you're doing very badly. I think you... I've never heard such an argument you put so badly. This is atrocious. You got to fight a bit harder. I know which way the audience is going to vote. It's not for you, Marcus, on this one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you.
Just pour a bit in there. It's just like being at school again, isn't it, Marcus?
It looks like the war in this room ain't been a success either.
Well, there's only one other way to approach the argument, and that's I'm committed to non-violence. The war was disgusting.
I'm going back. I love the fella.
There's no way I'm going to sit here and take the argument head on and say this has been the right or the successful thing to do. It was a despicable act carried out by dicks. I will not defend any action that they have done here or anywhere else. And yes, this is like being at school.
OK, thank you all. So has the war in Iraq been a great success? It's time for our studio audience to decide. Hold up your red cards if you agree with Marcus and Sean, and the blue ones for Reginald and Rufus. Vote now. OK, a clear victory for the blue team. Well done, Reginald and Rufus. They've convinced our audience that Iraq has not been a great success. No shit, Sherlock. The war in Iraq has cost us billions of pounds, but on the plus side, it does keep Ross Kemp out of Panto. The military coalition isn't quite as united as it once was. After arguments in their parliament, the Dutch have decided to bring their soldier home. Join us after the break when we'll be asking whether reality shows are the best things on telly. Don't go away. Welcome back to Argumental, the show that generates more friction than Elton John's bedroom carpet. Next up is our popular culture round, and this week the subject up for debate is this. Reality TV, the grub-eating, ice-skating, house-dwelling, primetime entertainment landfill. From tone-deaf teens to dancing dogs, it's a showcase for show-offs in a court of jumped-up judges. It's the karaoke cash cow they keep on milking. But the statement I'd like you to argue is this. Reality shows are the best thing on TV. First up, supporting this statement, is Rufus Hound.
Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, reality shows are not just the greatest thing on telly, they actually serve a higher karmic purpose. Scruffy miserablists like these two will tell you that we live in a cold, unplanned, uncaring universe. Yet, it seems to me that far from there being no plan, there is instead a schedule. A TV schedule in which beneficent rectitude is wrought by some higher power, some bigger brother. If we lived in a cold, uncaring universe, then for all his appearances in court, Paul Burrell would still be milking an income from a dead woman's accident. But, thanks to divine retribution bought by reality television, we have at least watched that kebab-faced dildo half-choke on the testicles of a kangaroo. Were it not for this instrument of divine magistration, for picking on a poor, defenceless, multi-millionaire footballer, Rebecca Lou's penance would remain unpaid. Instead, thanks to Channel 5's The Farm, we have seen her wanking a pig into a bag. People like Sean Hughes want to tell you that reality TV is TV dumbing down, that it's making us more stupid, in case you don't know what dumbing down means. But reality television isn't a window into a make-believe parallel universe, it's a window to the world. And the men that hate it hate not reality television, but reality itself. Sean hates that, in reality, there comes a time when screwing an 18-year-old behind an Irish thing pub stops being an heroic anecdote and starts being creepy and ill-judged. Marcus Brigstock hates that there are only so many times that you can order another Filipino houseboy before the agency starts asking what happened to the last one. So, can you hate televised reality? When David Attenborough plonks his camera down in the Serengeti, it's not that he's scripted the lion to attack the wildebeest, but that is the reality. Reality television shows us who we are. In a world that's lost its moral compass, it reassures us that the good will win and the bad will be punished, or at least evicted. Just as only a pure man may drink from the Holy Grail and live, so only John Sargent could be trussed up like a randy Spaniard and have a grateful nation beg for more on Strictly Come Dancing. A vote against reality television, therefore, is a vote that says John Sargent cannot tango. Now, pretty sure, looking around this room, that's not a vote you want to cast. Am I right?
Not really, from the sounds of it. You're sort of nearly a bit right.
Yeah. Please, vote blue. Thank you.
Now it's Sean's turn to oppose the statement and tell us that reality shows are not the best thing on TV.
You'll probably want this back for your bedroom, won't you, Rufus? Actually, if you've been watching that, like, his hair has gone totally now, so make that real. That's what he's like now. My argument consists of 2 words, and that will win the argument. Jeremy Kyle, thank you. I'll do a bit more. Oh, sorry.
You could explain how Jeremy Kyle relates in any way to this.
He does a reality show. Have you not watched it? It's brilliant.
I think you'll find that that's a talk show.
But it's real people.
Yeah.
Not celebrities. It's like, you know, people who kind of want to do lie detector tests for some reason.
You know what, man?
No.
Make your case.
Yeah, I will say. Now, for instance, what's your name, my friend?
Jonathan.
Come up, Jonathan. This is just an experiment. There you go. Just come here. Now, Jonathan, you've never been on television before?
No.
Well, there you go. This is reality TV. Thank you, Jonathan. See, there's a lot of talented people in the world. Like we all have favourite actors. Mine is Gerard Depardieu, and and that woman who pretends to have the stroke in the ad. She's brilliant. I was watching an episode of EastEnders recently, right? And there was a beautiful line in it. To me, it was poetry. You're never going to get these sort of lines on reality shows, are you? It was Charlie Slater, the fat taxi driver, and he was talking to one of the other characters, and he just goes, "Take my cabbages. Whitefly had the lot of them. But you have to move on, admit defeat. I'm going to try Brussels sprouts next." That's why you should vote for red.
Thanks, Sean. Reginald and Marcus, would you like to come out in support of your teammates?
Yep. Is there anything Charlie Slater doesn't know?
Who's Charlie Slater?
which does make you the bigger man here.
Of course, reality shows are not the best shows on television. You mentioned David Attenborough and tried to pull him into the tawdry world of reality shows. An Attenborough show, a single minute of an Attenborough show is better than the sum total of every single reality show that has ever been created. By miles. And not just the ones with and killing. The first series of Big Brother was kind of interesting because they didn't know they were playing a game. Even when that was on, it wasn't the best thing on TV because I had the box set of West Wing.
Yeah, but the notion of a DVD is it's the best thing on your TV.
That's right.
Well,
That's
you
right.
do know, don't you, that when you put on The West Wing, not everybody sat at home going, oh, just watch it.
They're all made to watch it in my house. My 2-year-old daughter can recite most of season 2 of West Wing.
And by the time she's 20, she's gonna be on reality TV somebody she shouldn't be because you made her watch West Wing before it's time.
OK, that's it. So, are reality shows the best thing on telly? It's time for our studio audience to decide. Red for Marcus and Sean, and blue for Rufus and Reginald. Vote now. That's a win for the red team. Well done, Sean and Marcus. There's a lot of resentment these days that reality stars haven't earned their fame. In the past, you had to do what I did, sleep your way to the top. Reality shows are now so popular that more people voted in the X Factor final than in the general election. As a result, Leona Lewis not only won a £1 million recording deal, she is also the sitting MP for Shropshire North. Right, next up is Slideshow, where the teams illustrate their argument using a series of pictures which they've never seen before. Playing this one will be Marcus and Reginald. Reginald, I'd like you to start us off by arguing that tea is better than coffee. Here's your first picture, and away you go.
Tea is better than coffee. Tea is very delicious, and it also encourages people to talk and relate, to relax and imbibe with each other in a non-alcoholic sense. In fact, it's the first step towards having alcohol, which, as you know, is a big deal for British people. British people, you know, you drink the way Americans eat. And moving on, here we have a picture of William Shakespeare, a noted tea drinker. He didn't have an opportunity to drink a cappuccino or a frappuccino or a latte. He drank tea, a very manly drink. And as this next picture will show, this person here was in the midst of drinking lager, and then they realized they wanted some tea. This person is in space, and he would have been upright in space, but he did not drink any tea, so he tilted to the side, leaving him unbalanced for the rest of his day. And here we are, we have Bono. Now here's a guy who's probably had too much coffee. You see, he's even got the coffee shades over his face, trying to show how energetic and caring about the world that he is. But in reality, a lot of people, including other Irish people, don't really respect him that much. We have people here who love tea so much, they wish they were tea. Wanting to be drank up by some person going down their esophagus and warming their insides. What could be a more noble way of living your life than warming another person's insides? My name is Reginald D. Hunter. Please vote for the blue team.
Thanks, Reginald. Next up, arguing that coffee is better than tea, it's Marcus Brigstock. Here's your first picture, and off you go.
Coffee is better than tea, and this is a cup of coffee. And, you know, you can just see from looking at it. Look at that delicious, creamy head on it. That's actually arousing me as I look at it. I'm thinking of creaminess, I'm thinking of froth, I'm thinking of loveliness. For some reason, I'm thinking of Ulrika Johnson. All those feelings have gone. This, of course, is Madame Guillotine, which is used for cutting people's heads off. People who like tea. But as this next picture will prove once and for all, coffee is better than tea. Check this out. That's right. You'd have to be batty to think that tea was better than coffee, sitting there with your finger out. Ooh, tea! Ooh, it's basically just hot water. Don't put the bag in, just leave it nearby. Coffee's what you want. Coffee's what made that bat fly. This was a mouse. It was a mouse on the floor. Someone gave it coffee, it went, you know what? I'm away! the lying face of the tea drinker. Gillian McKeith, the famous non-doctor. That's what she likes to do, sip tea and rifle through plop. Make of that what you will. I'll tell you what Gillian McKeith makes of it. A face mask. Well, folks, I've said a lot about coffee, I've said a fair bit about tea. Either way, thanks for listening. Vote Reg!
Thanks, Marcus.
Can we see the picture of the bat again?
Yeah, I think so.
Look at just look at the smile on that bat's face. Clearly, bats just fly around all day going, this is brilliant. That is a proper geezer bat. You can just tell. Yeah, man, I've got to be there in 20 minutes. Got to go, yeah?
OK, so is coffee better than tea? It's blue cards for Reginald and red ones for Marcus. Vote now. A clear victory for the Blues. Well done, Reginald. He's convinced the audience that tea is better than coffee. Of course it is. The A-team didn't have a member called Mr. Coffee, did it? One of this country's most famous tea drinkers is Gary Glitter. It was during his time in the Far East that he developed a taste for a little jasmine. Coffee is very fashionable these days. Apparently nothing perks up Kate Moss like some finely ground Colombian. Time now for the final round and a last chance for our teams to show just how argumental they really are. I'm going to show them a series of images. All they have to do is suggest an argument to go with them. OK? Here's your first one.
Oh, Heston's gone too far this time.
This is an argument against calling your daughter Margarita. Or Olive. Or no anchovies.
Next picture.
This is what happens when fathers for justice dress their children.
I think this is an argument against casting Tom Cruise in Rambo 6.
Is it Ross Kemp going through customs?
I think this is an argument against the Marks and Spencer's back-to-school range in Gaza.
Next picture.
Is it an argument that not all Transformers are brilliant?
I don't know if it's an argument, but I have a sincere hope that it's the new advert for eSure, and somewhere under all of that is Michael Winner.
OK, that's it. So for the final time, it's down to our studio audience to decide who made the best case. Red for Marcus and Sean, and blue for Rufus and Reginald. Vote now. Right, I can tell you that the red team have won the round, but nevertheless, this week's winners are the blue team.
Beautifully done, sir. Beautifully done.
Well done, Rufus Hound and Reginald D. Hunter. Commiserations to Marcus Brigstock and Sean Hughes. That's all we've got time for. Good night.